give it up for Jim Horton with the Zachary Horton Foundation. Welcome back.
Hi, Austin. Thank you.
Good to see you, brother.
Good to be seen.
It's been a while. It's been a while. I think you were last on, like you said, right around Memorial Day.
Right.
And yeah, it's much hotter.
Yes, it is.
It's still hot here in the Central Valley. I cannot wait for October, because then hopefully it'll cool down.
It's got to happen soon.
Yeah. The Zachary Horton Foundation, for our viewers that did not see you on that first interview back on around Memorial Day, tell us what it is.
Sure. The Zachary Horton Foundation was made in honor of my son, Zach, who passed away about a year and a half ago from a opioid overdose. And shortly after that, my wife and I decided that we needed to do something in his honor. And it took us a few months to decide exactly what that would look like. And but it's in the last 9 months we've established a nonprofit, and our mission is to end the stigma of addiction, and just supporting families and individuals that suffer from the disease of addiction.
I like this flyer, or fold out, I guess, right?
Sure.
This is great. And one of the thing, and you just made these, right?
Yes, yeah, those are recent.
These are awesome. Really, it's got everything on here: your story, your mission, resources, the foundation work, and then Zach's life. I want to talk about that. A story of love, addiction, loss, grief, and recovery. This is your podcast.
Yes, yeah. We've got about a dozen episodes out now, so that's been incredible. And Austin, one of the things that was so, oh my gosh, so important to my wife and I was that in ending the stigma of addiction is being able to talk about it, being able to normalize that conversation. We are certain that had that been a normal conversation that we could have been having with our son, one, we wouldn't have been in denial at the level that we were. And we would have realized it before it had expanded to such an incredibly deadly point. And so what our goal is, and in the mission of the foundation, is to bring that awareness and make this a conversation that we're happy to talk about, that we talk about with our family and with our friends. So if you have, I often use an analogy when, I say if my son had cancer, and I went to my next door neighbor, and I said, hey, Don, hey, I'm headed over to Stanford, this weekend with Zach. He's been, diagnosed with stage 3 or stage 4 cancer, and they got a great, program over there. Don would immediately have said, oh, Jim, I'm just crushed. I'll tell you what, we're gonna hold up your son at our church this weekend in prayer, and all of a sudden people would be bringing over casserole dishes, to support us, and then Don would say, hey, you know what, next month, my family's planning a trip up to Shaver, hey, our son would love to have Zach join us, and let's have him feel normal again and come back in. Now, that's what the disease of cancer looks like. Now let's look at what the disease of addiction, of substance use looks like. I go to my same neighbor and I say, hey, Don, man, I just found a bag of pills in Zach's room, and he's owned up that he's got a serious opioid addiction. You know what? He's gonna spend a couple weeks in a detox and then some time in a sober living house, and we're sending him over to the coast, to work this through. And my good friend might say, oh, Jim, I'm crushed. You know what? I'll tell you what, we're going to hold your son up in prayer this weekend at our church. But there's no casseroles. And when Zach gets back from that experience, the hardest thing he's ever done, the neighbor doesn't want him to spend time with his son. Doesn't want to take him away to Shaver for the weekend for fear that, they might catch what he has, right? That's the stigma that I'm talking about. When we get to the place as a community, as a nation, or maybe just in our families, where we can openly discuss what addiction is like, and it becomes normalized at that point, then we have a chance. Say, hey, you know what? Guess what? There's still going to be addicts. People are still going to use drugs, right? But what could have happened for Lynn and I is that we would have had an opportunity to have talked about it earlier. When we saw the first sign of it 3 years before, I could have went to my buddy Don and said, Don, holy cow, you wouldn't believe my son got blasted this last weekend. I don't know what to do. And Don would say, you know what? That happened to my nephew. Let me tell you, don't mess around, Jim. You need to get help, blah, blah, blah. And I wouldn't have been ashamed to talk about it. He wouldn't have been afraid to have admitted it. We would have had the conversation. That's the difference. So that's the big mission of our organization.
Well, as your slogan says, breaking the stigma of addiction, and
Yes.
that's a perfect slogan.
Yes.
And as you and I know, pain, parents and addicts in need. I had Darren on yesterday, and he was talking about just the fentanyl crisis.
Yes.
Where this mom had some back pain, and she couldn't get in touch with her doctor and needed some pain meds. So she knew somebody and got the pain meds delivered. It was like Vicodin, but it was cut with fentanyl.
Yes.
And she's dead.
It's just it is tragic, and I think one of the issues, and there are people in the recovery community that might take issue with me. I think one of the issues that we have in the way that we view drugs is that we tell our young people that you do this once and you're going to die. And don't get me wrong, fentanyl it's a hideous and it is the new pandemic, and Pain is doing incredible work with their naloxone distributions that they're doing.
Narcan.
Yeah, Narcan. Well, naloxone is the pharmaceutical name.
Okay.
Yeah, with the Narcan distributions, they're doing incredible work, and everyone should have that in their home, right? You say, why would I have that in my home? My kid's not an addict. Well, why do you have a fire extinguisher in your house? You plan on your house burning down?
Right.
No, right? You want that there. You want that there for that safety factor.
We have it now here at Central Valley Talk, just in case.
I saw. How great it would be if someone rushes next door and says, "Oh my God, someone just OD'd at my house," and you can say, "I can help."
Exactly.
How wonderful would that be? But what we've done, Austin, is we've told kids, if you try this, you're going to die, right? Well, guess what? They try everything. They know people that have tried it. The lady who had the stuff delivered to her, she had maybe gotten help in the past, from them, right? So you don't believe it anymore. Mm-hmm. You don't believe that it's going to be that.
That's right.
Bad. And in fact, kids want the stuff that's cut with fentanyl because they know it's the good stuff.
The good stuff, yeah.
Right? That's what why? Because they're kids, because they trust what their peers tell them. If you're a parent out there and you're wondering, it never happened to my kid. My kid won't use drugs. They won't do that. They'll do what I tell them. If you've got a 15 or 16-year-old, just ask yourself this: does my kid dress more like me or like their friends? Is their hair cut more like my hair or like their friends? That's who has the influence on your kid. And you tell your kids, this will kill you, and their friends say, hey, we did it all last weekend. They're going to try it, and they're going to do it. So the answer is be prepared.
Yeah.
It's not, don't say it'll never happen.
Right.
On the back of the flyer, that was a quote that my wife found, and it's the most dangerous words you can say is not my kid. So it's about that awareness.
That's right. We've got about a minute left. Talk about anything else going on with the foundation, any new things that's happening.
Oh, we've got some great partnerships. In fact, I'll tell you on Saturday, 9/11, there's a Valley Heroes Parade at Woodward Park. And so from the Fresno Kiwanis, they're celebrating their 100-year anniversary coming up here. And so we've been invited to have a booth there. So that's fantastic. Again, having our full nonprofit status established and being able to have a donate button on there, because we have no paid staff and we're just fully self-funded so far. So all that's exciting. But some doors are opening up. Some opportunities again to share the message. It's just about making people aware and breaking that stigma. And thank you, Austin, for the chance to do that here.
And again, a quick reminder, Zach's Life, the new podcast is available, on Spotify?
You can find it on Spotify. You can find it at ZacharyHortonFoundation.org. There's a link there. Or you can find it on Spotify or on Anchor.fm.
Perfect.
Well.
All right. Let's try to have these conversations every few months because it is desperately needed information. And I'd love to come on your podcast sometime. We can talk more.
I'll look forward to it.
All right. Perfect. Thank you so much. Donate today if you guys can to the Zachary Horton Foundation. Rest in peace. For sure.
Thank you.
All right. I'm Austin Breed. You're watching Central Valley Talk. We've got another guest standing by live in studio. We'll be back in 2 minutes.